Hello everybody, it's Aiden or Adorier Lego Studios and welcome to week 5 of Building Sorgan and Lego. So I didn't get as much done as I did last week. However, I did build on live stream with you guys after episode 4 of Building Sorgan, and that was a blast. I was on there for about 2 hours on Sunday. I'm going to see if I can do that again the Sunday after this video goes up. So I think that'll be the 2nd of February. So if you're watching this, be sure to turn on notifications. That way you guys don't miss that stream if I do decide to stream. But anyways, yeah, I just worked a bit more on the ponds and the terrain. And I also got in 2 hauls. One was a bricks minifigs haul. It was only like $6. And then I also got like a $40 bricklink order. And that had some really crucial, not necessarily parts, but let's just say figures to the mock. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video now. Alright guys, now to start out this week's haul, we're actually going to be having a small pick-a-brick cup that I got from Bricks Minifigs. This was only about $6, I think. So it's a very good deal for this many parts, as I'd say there's easily over around 200 parts in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and sort this out and then show you guys everything that I got towards Sorgan, because there's a lot of good pieces, especially for this price in here, that are gonna benefit this mod greatly. Alright guys, so this is all the parts sorted out. Now keep in mind, I got all of this for $6, which is a really good deal. Especially considering I got like 50 of those clip pieces. So I'll just go through and show some of the pieces. Of course, all of these aren't for the Sorgan mock. Like, I'm not going to need these masonry bricks that you see up there. I'm not going to need those for the Sorgan mock at all. But I figured I'd show some of the most important pieces and the piece I want to highlight. So moving on over to the left, we have these clip pieces. These are going to be very necessary if you remember from the last episode. And if you haven't watched the last episode of Sorgan, I recommend watching that before this. I'm using clip pieces to go ahead and go around on the flex tubes around to make the huts from the Sorgan village. So that's going to be a very crucial part, and I'll be able to get a lot done on huts in this episode because of that, actually, since I got so many of those. And then moving on over to the right, I got some of the olive green parts. A lot of these are slopes, which is unfortunate as I really need plates and tiles more, but I can still figure out a way to work the slopes in, as I was running low on olive green a lot before this. And then moving on down, we have some of the reddish brown plates. I already have quite a decent amount of these, although I didn't have a lot of the smaller ones, like the 1x2s, 1x1s, 1x3s. So that's definitely gonna come in handy. And then moving on over to the left, we have some of the wedge plates, which if you recall from the last episode, I was running rather low on, and I am very grateful that I was able to find even this many. So I'm probably gonna have to do a bricklink order for those. And then moving on further over to the left, we have some of the dark tan pieces. So you can see some tiles on your screen, some plates, some bricks, some jumpers. So those are all gonna be used for texturing. You can just ignore these pieces up here, as those are not going to be used in Sorgan. Moving on down here is some of like the more unique pieces. So this is going to be used to make like the barriers that all of the villagers hide behind as they're shooting at the Sorgan raiders. And I can also use it to like just make some basic framework and fences in the village, is one thing I was thinking of. And then we have some basic parts over here, just some neat parts that I figured I'd pick up. And here we have some of the cooler reddish brown pieces. So I have the tiles, those would be good for terrain, the huts, etc. Have some jumpers over here, and then I have some grill pieces, which I'm not going to use in the terrain. That would only be in the village. And then also another thing that I want to use in the village is, if you look over here, I forgot this call, I think it's antenna piece. This is going to be used a lot in pieces like this that have bars in them to go ahead and create that like sort of stacked barrier that the Sorgan villagers have around while they're shooting at the raiders again. So anyways, now I have all these pieces, let's go ahead and start building. Alright guys, so if everything goes according to plan, I should be live streaming. This is a Sunday. This is the day after episode 4 of Sorgan release. And I know I have an awesome stream set up, as is very evident by the way that Chromebook is angled to be my camera. So this will be one of the first streams to be a test stream, so hopefully I can get a time lapse if everything does go according to plan. So anyways, let's just go ahead and get into the time lapse now. Alright guys, so here's everything I got done during that time lapse. It wasn't a whole lot, I'm going to be honest, but I'm just going to talk about this for a little bit and then we'll go ahead and get into a bricklink order that arrived. Basically, the biggest thing that I did was I added in this smaller pond over here. So my plan is to have this like huge pond over here, have one more huge pond over there, and then have just a bunch of smaller just ponds like worked in everywhere. I can't really do a whole lot until I get some dark brown plates and wedge plates. So there might not be an episode next week because of that, because I'm going to place a bricklink order, and it all honestly just depends on what time the bricklink order gets in. But anyways, one of the things that I also did was I extended this out. I started like transitioning from reddish brown back over to dark tan. So I feel like that actually transitioned pretty well, especially going from pond to pond. Of course, we can't know what it finally looks like until we get some dark brown plates. Anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and get into the bricklink order. So since all of the other surfaces in my Lego room are currently cluttered, if you guys have watched my monthly update, you'll know that. I'm just gonna go ahead and open this up on Sorgan. So anyways, I think I spent about $40 for this, somewhere in that ballpark. I'm not sure if this is gonna work or if we need scissors. Yeah, I'm gonna need scissors. All right, now that I have it open, let's go ahead and take this out, see what's in here. So they put it all in one giant bag, so I'm gonna go ahead and take out all of these smaller bags and talk about what they are and what they're gonna be used for. So in here we have some brooms, some I don't know exactly what they're called, but they're what Lego uses to put like backpacks on minifigures in brown, and also some 1x2 curved slopes in brown. In here we have some 4x4 wedge plates and reddish brown to use for the ponds. Right here, I'm just gonna take these out because this is a lot of stuff in one bag. We have some 1x2 trans red bricks. This is to try to put the lights in the ATST in case I can't find red lights. I could just use those. Up next, we have a bunch of just dark tan tiles and like dark tan plates. We also have some of the modified slopes that I'm using for the top of the hut. And up next, we have okay, this is all just put loosely in there. So we have a ton of brown parts again. So I have some of these oars or paddles. I have some of these backpack, sort of, and then some of these modified reddish brown plates. This is all going to be used to try to make the barriers or the fences along here. If you guys remember from the first episode, the second episode when I talked about that. Then up next we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, I'll talk about that guy later. 6, 7, 8, 9 of the raiders, the village raiders from the Sorgan series. So I have a decent amount now. I'm not sure if this will be all I use, as I now have 11. But I'm just gonna go ahead and put those on the mock, and then we'll finish out this video. And we'll just see if that's enough or if I think I'm gonna need more. And then lastly, I also got this pirate guy. He's only $1. I'm just trying to collect more of the like Star Wars species figures, so I figured I'd just pick him up. Let's go ahead and put out all the Clotonian raiders now. Alright guys, so this is what I think 11 Sorgan raiders look like, just spread out throughout one base plate. One's on the second base plate, but we'll just ignore that fact. So basically what I was thinking is, if you remember from the show, there is one place they can enter, which is going to be right there in the middle of the base plate, because they're trying to get the ATST to walk into the pond, so it's going to be right in front of the pond. So my thought was that all of them should be running towards that area, and of course it doesn't make sense for there to be guys over here, because where would they have entered from? So all the guys, or the raiders, are going to look like that they're coming out from like paths that are opening up, like here. There's be one behind the ATST over there. There's be like 2 or 3 more over there. So that's my thinking, and I feel like this is enough to cover one base plate for sure, maybe even like 1.5, so I'm not gonna have to get that many raiders. However, I do want some of them to have broken into the barrier, so probably gonna end up getting like 20 raiders at the end of all of this, 25, so not a lot, as this isn't like a huge large scale battle. It's a small battle. It's one of the emphasis of this mock that I want to make sure I get correct. But anyways guys, I'm gonna just go ahead and finish out the video right now. So if you guys aren't already, be sure to subscribe so you can catch the next episode of Building Sorgan. I might be live streaming tomorrow, I'm not sure, because in case you guys can tell throughout this parts of this video, I have a bit of a sore throat, so I'm just gonna see how I feel tomorrow. But anyways, yeah, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you think of the changes I made to the mock. if you think this is enough minifigures for base plate, if I should have more or less on the base plate. Anyways, yeah, I'm Adorier Lego Studios, and I'll see you next time. Bye.